Nihilator with long and powerful strides, and Bill O'Donnell urging him on. They're after the world record.
If you've never been on your feet, you better get up now. It's Falcon Sealster opening up now by 15 lengths, 17, 19.
Fracas off Creek Waters, 124 by 5 lengths. Fracas home in, 53 and 2. There it is! There it is! That's the fastest ever by a trotter.
Marauder has the lead. Nihilator on the outside. They've got an eighth of a mile to go. It's Marauder with the lead.
On the road again, leads by 2.5 lengths. Butler BG second, Guts far outside. They're coming to the finish. On the road again, he has done it again.
Armbro Davona by 15. Villarana and Armbro Davona coming for the wire.
On the inside, Steinem hangs tough. Stormy Pursuit closing ground. Steinem, Stormy Pursuit, Steinem.
1985 was one of the best years ever for the sport of harness racing, with speed and money records rewritten by familiar names like Nihilator, Fracas, Marauder, On the Road Again, Armbro Davona, and Steinem, and by new stars like Falcon Sealster. During the next hour, we'll review the top trotters and pacers of the year and see the horses and races that were part of Harness Racing 1985. 1984 Harness Horse of the Year, Fancy Crown, was among the many returning champions who started off 1985 with high expectations. After she had beaten the fillies in the Hambletonian Oaks and the Breeders' Crown, and the colts in the Kentucky Futurity, the Speedy Crown mare figured to handle the top age trotters during her 4-year-old campaign. But Fancy Crown, who set world records on all 3 size tracks as a 3-year-old, could manage only 2 victories during the season. However, her first was this 156-4 season's record for 4-year-old trotting mares in the invitational ranks at the Meadowlands.
But it's Fancy Crown maintaining a 2.5 length lead. With RC's DJ in second, it's Fancy Crown in front.
A bout with colic and a fractured sesamoid bone forced Fancy Crown's premature retirement from the track. She earned nearly $900,000 during her illustrious career. During 1985, one of Fancy Crown's old adversaries, Selena Lobel, became the fastest female trotter ever over a 5/8 mile track with this 157-2 world record at Pompano Park. The 4-year-old Speedy Crown mare also was the season's leader in her division over a half-mile track.
Through the lane, it is Selena Lobel for Mickey McNichol, Skull Angel, Metrolina Yankee. This one belongs to Selena Lobel.
The other standout among the older trotting mares was Babe Cosmos, who twice lowered the world record for age trotting mares over a mile track. The 5-year-old Speedy Crown mare first wrote her name into the record book with a 156 clocking at Garden State Park on August 26th, then lowered the record to 155-2 2 weeks later with this victory over Sandy Bowl.
Through the stretch, it's Sandy Bowl from the outside. Between horses, Babe Cosmos, Manfred Hanover. Closing at the rail is Pigvar. It's a driving finish. Babe Cosmos in front.
Although Sandy Bowl was beaten that night, the Super Bowl horse later set his own world record with a 154-1 time trial at the Red Mile, the fastest clocking ever by a 4-year-old trotter. The Breeders' Crown winner also was the season's leader in his division on all sizes of tracks, including this 155-2 victory over Manfred Hanover and Fancy Crown in a leg of the Hiram Woodruff Series at the Meadowlands.
And Sandy Bowl now will take over the lead by a head. Manfred Hanover is second. It's Sandy Bowl in front.
Meanwhile, Manfred Hanover had his share of success during the year, including a 158-1 world record for age trotting stallions over the half-mile track at Yonkers. The 5-year-old Super Bowl horse first sprang into prominence by winning the Memorial Day stake at the Red Mile in then world record 155-3. And set a Canadian record with his 157 clocking at Bluebonnets before winning the $140,000 Maple Leaf Trotting Classic over Sandy Bowl at Greenwood.
They turn for home, Manfred Hanover by a length. Second on the outside, Garland Lobel, and here comes Sandy Bowl. Sandy Bowl is driving, Manfred Hanover battling back.
Manfred Hanover and Sandy Bull, those two as they come to the wire. Manfred Hanover staying game. Sandy Bull can't get him. It's Manfred Hanover.
There was a historical performance by another older trotter during the year that deserves mention. When the speed and action gelding Op Art won a condition trot at Garden State in mid-November, he established a world record for 4-year-old trotting geldings over a mile track. Op Art's winning time of 1:56 1/5 bested a 49-year-old mark of 1:57 1/4 set in 1936 by the legendary Gray Ghost Greyhound.
Op Art is coming to him. Op Art looks him in the eye. Op Art goes right on by. It's Op Art now on top. Ben Rich second. It'll battle for third. Op Art on top.
But even the best age trotters from North America were no match for the foreign imports. For the second straight year, the French trotter Lutin Designy won the Roosevelt International Trot, and the Swedish trotter Meadow Road devastated the best trotters in the world in the inaugural Statue of Liberty Series at the Meadowlands. Sandy Bull, Babe Cosmos, and French world champion Menu du Donjon, who was timed in 1:55 over a 5/8 mile track during the year, were left in the wake of the 6-year-old Madison Avenue stallion, who captured the mile leg in world record 1:54 2.
Meadow Road, it looks like he's going to do it again. Full of trot as they come to the finish. Sandy Bull second, a race against the clock. Meadow Road has won it.
Also sweeping to victory in an international series at the Meadowlands was 1984 Pacer of the Year On the Road Again, who during 1985 became the first pacer to go unbeaten through the World Cup Series. By winning the 1.5-mile second leg, the Happy Motoring horse, who originally sold for $10,000, went over the $2 million mark in career earnings and surpassed Nihilator, Rambling Willie, and Canthella on the all-time money earnings list for pacers.
On the road again in front, Gold is closing with guts, and here is the wire. On the road again has won it.
On the Road Again set numerous records during 1985 and won such other major events as the $145,000 George Morton Levy Memorial Final at Roosevelt, the $133,000 Challenge Cup at Blue Bonnets, the $124,000 Canadian Pacing Derby at Greenwood, the $90,000 Chesapeake at Free State, the $200,000 Stuart Fraser Memorial at Edmonton Northlands, and the $250,000 final of the Fall Pacing Championship at Yonkers. On the Road Again surpassed $2,819,000 in career earnings during his 4-year-old campaign, which was highlighted by this victory in world record equaling 1:51 4 in the U.S. Pacing Championship at the Meadowlands.
On the road again, leads by 2.5 lengths. Butler BG second, Guts far outside. They're coming to the finish. On the road again, he has done it again.
Another age pacer who took his mark at the Meadowlands was Save Fuel. The Brett Hanover horse equaled the world record for 4-year-old pacing stallions with his 1:51 4 clocking on the final day of the meeting. He later set a track record of 1:52 1 at Garden State.
It's all Save Fuel with a 3-length lead. Then Governor's Choice giving chase. Hoosier Outshot third. And it's going to be Save Fuel again.
Stablemates George S. and Tough Choice enjoyed long strings of success during 1985. Early in the year, the 4-year-old Thorpe Hanover horse George S. battled on the road again to a world record 1:54 4 dead heat in the Graduate Series over the half-mile track at Rosecroft.
They turn for the finish mark. Coming down the lane, it's George S. On the road again comes on. George S. on the road again, and here they are.
In what was billed as the showdown of the Rosecroft Stone Dust, On the Road Again gets up at the wire to tie George S., who nevertheless kept his 14-race winning streak intact. George S. came back the following week to beat On the Road Again in the George Morton Levy Series at Yonkers to stretch his streak to 15 straight victories, the final 11 coming during 1985. George S.'s stablemate Tough Choice enjoyed a 13-race winning streak during the year. After getting only 2 victories during his 3-year-old campaign, the windshield wiper horse became the monster of the Meadowlands as a 4-year-old. His track record 13th consecutive victory at the Meadowlands came in 1:53 3 in the Skyline Series.
But it's all Tough Choice. Win number 13 in a row. Here's the wire, and it's tough choice.
1985 also was a landmark year for 1984 Age Pacer of the Year, Mr. Dowray. With his consecutive victories in the U.S. Pacing Championship and the American National at his home track, Sportsman's Park, the 6-year-old Meadow Skipper horse topped $1 million in career earnings.
It's Mr. Delray, the leader, Armbro Cadet on the outside coming on. Mr. Delray and Armbro Cadet closing.
By the end of the season, the most happy fella gelding Division Street had emerged as one of the top older pacers. Division Street earned more than $600,000 during a remarkable 5-year-old campaign, which included this victory over On the Road Again in world record 154-4 in the R. Bruce Cornell Memorial over the half-mile track at Freehold. Division Street also defeated On the Road Again in the Breeders' Crown for the Age Pacers in world record 152-3 at Free State to become the fastest gelding in harness racing history.
On the road again, trying to hang on the far outside, it's Division Street. On the road again with Division Street, it's Division Street.
The world records for 4-year-old and age pacing mares also were lowered during 1985. The 4-year-old Most Happy Fella mare May Wine became the fastest mare of all time with her 152-3 victory over Green with Envy and Smooth Millie on Hambletonian Day at the Meadowlands.
May Wine is pouring it on, and John Campbell is asking everything from her. And May Wine, a sharp performance here. Let's look at the time. May Wine has won it.
Meanwhile, Green with Envy lowered the world record for age pacing mares during 1985. The 5-year-old Meadow Skipper mare wrote her name into the record books with a 153-4 mile in the Overbid Series at the Meadowlands, besting a record that had stood since 1977.
Anthelina D on the inside, Smooth Millie on the outside, and their heads apart. Another length back to Green with Envy. Looking for racing room, special chemistry, and a length and a half back to D.I. Ruthie Deer. But Green with Envy now has taken over command. It's Green with Envy in front.
Smooth Millie, who was third in Green with Envy's record mile and also was third behind May Wine and Green with Envy on Hambletonian Day, turned the tables on Green with Envy at Garden State Park in late August. The 5-year-old mare by Smooth Fella equaled the world record for age pacing mares with her 153-4 time in a conditioned pace.
It's now Smooth Millie. Green with Envy is closing between horses. Stormy Roan. It's Smooth Millie in front.
The 3-year-old pacing fillies represented one of the most evenly matched divisions. The champion 2-year-old filly of 1984, Amneris, did not seem to regain her championship form until late summer when she moved into the Bill Houghton stable. Amneris put together a 9-race winning streak during August and September, which was highlighted by this victory in the final of the Jugette at Delaware, Ohio. After winning her elimination in world record 154-4, the Tyler B filly took the final in 155-1 to also establish a 2-heat world record.
The leader, Amneris, Silent Cat, come at the rail, but it's Amneris!
Amneris' record for 3-year-old pacing fillies over a half-mile track had been tied in the second elimination of the Jugette by Town Tattler. The Big Towner filly, who was coming off a victory in a division of the Helen Dancer Memorial at Garden State, had captured her elimination in 154-4 to equal the world record.
It's a come with the lead. Clearing skies. Town Tattler with a rush. Town Tattler on the outside.
Town Tattler's stablemate Steinem, who during 1984 had become the richest 2-year-old filly pacer in history, despite losing the Breeders' Crown to Amneris, also was frustrated by her rival for much of her 3-year-old campaign. However, the Falcon Almerhurst filly did get the better of Amneris in the Breeders' Crown, and also defeated Amneris and another old rival, Similou D'Amour, in a division of the Tarport Hap, winning in 153-4 to equal the season's record for 3-year-old pacing fillies over a mile track.
Steinem digs in. Similou D'Amour right at her neck. Steinem, Similou D'Amour, those two. Steinem, Similou D'Amour. Here's the wire, and it's Steinem.
Steinem also paced her way into the record book with this victory in the opening heat of the $85,000 Tattersall's filly pace at the Red Mile. Her share of the purse made her the richest female in harness racing history.
Steinem on the inside, on the outside Armbro Desire. On the inside, Steinem hangs tough. Stormy Pursuit closing ground. Steinem, Stormy Pursuit, Steinem.
Steinem's career bankroll reached $1,355,474 during 1985, surpassing the previous filly or mare earnings record set by Naughty But Nice. Also sharing the national season's record of 153-4 with both Amneris and Steinem were the two division winners of the Cinderella Pace at Garden State. Breeze Brief, a big-towner filly who had set a track record for 3-year-old filly pacers at Mohawk by winning the Simcoe Stakes in 155-4, lowered her mark with a victory in the first division.
Breeze Brief on the outside. On the inside, Forbidden Past. Here comes Peppermint Candy on the inside, and on the extreme outside, Fantastique, but it's Breeze Brief in front.
In the second division of the Cinderella, 7 O'Clock, who had carried her owner Edward Ryan to a 154-1 world record for amateur drivers at the Red Mile, and was the season's leader over a 5H-mile track at 154-4, also with Ryan driving at the Meadows, had the services of Ray Rimmon when she won in 153-4 at Garden State. The Tyler B filly defeated both Steinem and Amneris.
Through the stretch, 7 O'Clock now challenges on the inside Steinem, and here comes Amneris, but it's 7 O'Clock wearing down Steinem. 7 O'Clock in front.
Another 3-year-old pacing filly who distinguished herself during 1985 was the Nihilator's daughter, Similou d'Amour. Early in the season, she became the first filly ever to win the Lady Maud at Roosevelt, a year after also winning the John Chapman Memorial there. She also won the Bronx Filly Pace at Yonkers and the $600,000 Mistletoe Shilly at the Meadowlands over Steinem and 7 O'Clock in 154.
Similou d'Amour has the lead by 2. Steinem, late charge on the outside. Similou d'Amour and Steinem, a late move. Here's the wire. Similou d'Amour has it.
The 2-year-old pacing fillies were just as evenly matched as their older sisters. However, the Governor Skipper filly, Follow My Star, asserted herself early by winning 13 of her first 14 starts, including the $1 Million Sweetheart Pace over Caressible and Valentina in 155. She later won a division of the Matron Stake at Garden State in 154-4 to take a share of the national season's record.
Valentina coming to the final 8th with a 2-length lead. Beal is racing in second, but here comes Follow My Star, charging on the outside. Follow My Star taking the lead and pulling away. John Campbell driving this one to a sharp win tonight. Follow My Star, a romp-away winner by 4.
Caressible, who finished second in the Sweetheart, won 9 of her first 12 starts and finished second in the other 3. The Nihilator's filly took her mark of 155-4 in a $96,000 division of the Molly Pitcher at Garden State, and later won the nearly $633,000 Breeders' Crown at Yonkers to become the richest 2-year-old filly pacer in history. Her bankroll of nearly $895,000 surpassed the previous freshman filly earnings record set by Steinem.
It's now Caressible. Angela Ty is trying to close in on the outside. Caressible and Angela Ty. Caressible holding sway in front.
Caressible's stablemate Valentina won 9 of her first 11 starts and was third in the Sweetheart and second to Caressible in a division of the Countess Adios at the Meadowlands during the early part of her career. The biggest victories for the Tyler B filly included the John Chapman Memorial at Roosevelt, the La Paloma Filly Pace at Yonkers, and a division of the Lady Baltimore at Free State.
It's all Valentina. Valentina's in hand and in command. Tied loose, tidy time, and Sue Frail. Valentina's going to take this field coast to coast.
The Meadows was the setting for world record performances by a pair of 2-year-old pacing fillies during 1985. In late August, the Tyler B filly Angela Ty devastated a field of older fillies and mares by nearly 20 lengths in 156-3, a world record for 2-year-old pacing fillies over a 5/8-mile track.
Less than a 16th to go. Angela Ty battling the clock now by 22. It's Angela Ty. Look at the timer.
Less than a month later, the Albatross filly Razzle Hanover equaled Angela Ty's 156 and 3 clocking in a preferred handicap at the Meadows. Then at the Red Mile, Razzle Hanover time trialed in 152 and 2 to become the fastest 2-year-old pacer of either sex in harness racing history.
Razzle Hanover with the lead. The outside, Penny's Vicky. Fars GL between horses. Coming for the wire. Razzle Hanover. On the outside, Penny's Vicky. It's Razzle Hanover.
Another speedy 2-year-old filly who emerged at the end of the season was Seaquick. The Seahawk Hanover filly equaled Follow My Star's national season's record of 154 and 4 at Garden State in mid-September. Then traveled to the Red Mile to win the $71,000 Katie Owen. Seaquick later added a division of the Tompkins Gears at Garden State to her list of accomplishments.
But it's Seaquick strong in the lane. Seaquick pulling away from this field by 3 lengths. Seaquick is going to win it.
The freshman pacing colts took turns grabbing the headlines. Early in the season, Sherman Almerhurst was the standout, winning his first 7 starts. The Royce colt captured such events as the nearly $268,000 Peter Houghton Memorial at Roosevelt, a $75,000 division of the Potomac Pace at Free State, and the nearly $368,000 Kentucky Pacing Derby at Louisville Downs over the ill-fated Armbro Elvis.
Sherman Almerhurst on the outside, Armbro Elvis on the inside. Down the stretch to the wire, Armbro Elvis and Sherman Almerhurst.
Sherman Almerhurst took his mark of 155 and 1 in an elimination for the Woodrow Wilson Pace at the Meadowlands, and he was a heavy favorite to capture the final, worth $1,344,000. However, upsetting the field was long shot Grade 1.
Michael Jonathan now is opening up as they come into the final 8th. He's there by 3 lengths. Sherman Almerhurst is all out to catch him. Freight Saver is closing in. Grade 1 is charging on the outside. Tucson Hanover in between horses. Michael Jonathan, he is desperate. Grade 1 flying on the outside in between horses. It's Freight Saver. They're coming to the finish. On the outside, here comes Grade 1, and it's a blanket finish in the Wilson.
Only a neck separated the first 5 finishers in the 1985 Woodrow Wilson. But in one of the best finishes of the year, it was the Slapstick colt Grade 1 at odds of nearly 50 to 1 on the outside, getting to the wire first in 154 and 3. The silent majority colt Laughs was no joke to his competition. In his first 14 starts, Laughs won 10 times and finished second on 4 occasions. In the process, he won the nearly $169,000 Prix de l'Avenir at Blue Bonnets, the $600,000 Shepherd Pace at Yonkers, a division of the Matron Stake at Garden State, and took his mark of 155 and 1 while beating Canada's fastest juvenile ever, Amity Chef, in a $188,000 division of the Garden State Stake.
Through this stretch, it's all Laughs in front. P.F. Cass and Amity Sheffel battle for second. It's Laughs coasting to victory.
The distinction of being the fastest freshman pacing colt of 1985 belonged to Talk About Class. The Nihilator colt took the honors with his 154 victory in the second heat of the Almerhurst Farm Stake at DuQuoin. He later won the Meadowlands Farm Stake at the Red Mile.
As they race through the lane, Happy Chatter has the lead by a neck on the far outside, trying to move up and doing it as they race this way is Talk About Class. Uncut Jade inside, Talk About Class, Talk About Class, Talk About Class.
The only 2-year-old pacing colt to set a world record during 1985 was Barbary Spur. The Nihilator colt won a division of the Standardbred on Little Brown Jug Day at Delaware, Ohio in 155 and 2, the fastest clocking ever by a freshman pacing colt over a half-mile track. The time was 3/5 faster than the previous record set a year earlier by Cervantes Osborne.
Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. The leader is Barbary Spur. Opening up on Happy Chatter. Barbary Spur coming on.
Barbary Spur also was the season's leader over a 5/8 mile track with his 155-3 victory at the Meadows. Barbary Spur won such events as a division of the Matron Stake at Garden State and the Governor's Cup at Garden State in 154-1. With a purse of $1,357,500, the Governor's Cup was the richest harness race of 1985.
In the middle of the track, it's Barbary Spur. Barbary Spur now sweeps into the lead. Barbary Spur starts to pull away for William O'Donnell. In hot pursuit, Towner's big guy on the inside souffle, but it's Barbary Spur winning the Governor's Cup final.
By the end of the season, the lightly raced Robust Hanover had moved to the top of the 2-year-old pacing colt division with his victory over Barbary Spur in the Breeders' Crown at Rosecroft. The Warm Breeze colt previously had defeated Barbary Spur in a division of the Tompkins Gears at Garden State in 155-1.
It's Robust Hanover now under the whip. On the extreme outside, here comes Barbary Spur. It's a driving finish. Robust Hanover in front.
The Breeders' Crown winner in the 3-year-old filly trotter division, Armbro Devona, established 2 world records during 1985. At Delaware, the Speedy Crown filly demolished a field of free-for-all trotters in 157 to become the fastest 3-year-old trotter of either sex over a half-mile track.
Coming home, Armbro Devona by 15. Bellarana and Armbro Devona coming for the wire. Here they are.
Armbro Devona's time at Delaware was 1/5 faster than the previous filly record set by Fancy Crown at Delaware, and also bettered by 4/5 the colt record established by Master Willie 1 day earlier at Delaware. Armbro Devona later beat the colts in a heat of the Kentucky Futurity and set a world record for 3-year-old filly trotters over a 5/8 mile track by winning a preferred trot at Pompano in 157-2. That time equaled Selena Lobel's all-age world record.
They are in the stretch, and it is now all Armbro Devona. The 3-year-old daughter of Speedy Crown is looking tough tonight. Armbro Devona comfortably in front. She's in full command. Armbro Devona in front.
Early in the season, the Bonefish filly Conk asserted herself among the 3-year-old filly trotters with victories in such major events as the Coaching Club Oaks and the $401,000 Hambletonian Oaks, both at the Meadowlands. After winning the opening heat of the Hambletonian Oaks in 157-4, Conk took the second heat in 158-4, with Armbro Devona finishing third.
Conk leads the way, trying to hold on. Double coverage, moving through strongly on the inside. Conk and double coverage. Conk and double coverage, very close. Here's the wire, and Conk has won the Hambletonian Oaks.
The fastest 3-year-old filly trotter of 1985 was Keystone Profile, who won consecutive heats of the World Trotting Derby filly division at Du Quoin in 155-1 to establish a 2-heat world record. The Speedy Crown filly was all alone in the race-off after her only challenger, Armbro Devona, had made an early break.
Keystone Profile, who already has established one of the trotting greats, the Speedy Crown half-sister to Green Speed, trotting home for Hoken Wallner, already with the record 55-1. This trotting 3-year-old filly is home in 55-1.
The champion 2-year-old trotting filly of 1984, Davidia Hanover, was expected to dominate her division during 1985. The Super Bowl filly was ranked atop the experimental championship ratings of 3-year-old trotters, the first filly ever to lead the list. But Davidia Hanover did not live up to those lofty expectations during her sophomore campaign. Her major victories in open company came in divisions of the Hudson Filly Trot at Yonkers and the Cradle of Liberty at Liberty Bell. She took her mark of 157-1 in her elimination of the Holly Lane Stud at the Red Mile, where she defeated Keystone Profile.
Davidia Hanover leads it. Philomena Hanover second on the outside, coming on also double coverage at the wire. It's Davidia.
Armbro Devona's trainer, Chuck Sylvester, sent out a trio of top 2-year-old trotting fillies during 1985. Evita Lobel, Castleton Memo, and Brightlight Lobel all won races worth at least $100,000 during the season. But the richest was Brightlight Lobel, who banked over $500,000. A large share of the earnings for the Speedy Crown filly came in the $627,000 Mary Annabelle at the Meadowlands. She later set a track record of 2 minutes and 3/5 at Mohawk in winning the $176,000 Champlain Stakes.
It's all Bright Light Lobel winning it easily. Wendy's Joker for second. Bright Light Lobel in front. Here's the time. 1:57.3, a new track record.
The fastest 2-year-old filly trotter of 1985 was Newmarket S. The Pershing filly missed by just 1/5 of a second the world record for her age, sex, and gait over a mile track when she won the final of the Castleton Farm Stake at DuQuoin in 1:57.1. She later was a straight heat winner of the Walnut Hall in 2-heat world record time at Delaware, taking the final in 2 minutes and 1/5 to better by 3/5 the previous world record set by Conifer.
It's Newmarket S. Brina Almehurst comes to the outside. Down the lane, Newmarket S. Brina Almehurst to the outside, but it's Newmarket S.
The freshman trotting colts were headed by Express Ride, who was in the money in all 14 of his starts during the year. The Super Bowl colt won 9 times and took his mark of 157.4 in the $1 million Peter Houghton Memorial at the Meadowlands. He later took advantage of a break by Royal Prestige to win the $474,000 Breeders' Crown at the Meadows and earned $840,000 during his 2-year-old campaign.
For the final 8th, it's Express Ride. Royal Prestige trying to come at him from the outside. Express Ride holding on. Royal Prestige has gone on a break, and it's going to be Express Ride in the Peter Houghton Memorial.
Royal Prestige was the fastest freshman trotting colt of 1985, beating Express Ride in 1:56.3 in the final of the Horseman Futurity at Indianapolis. The Speedy Crown colt also was the season's leader in his division over a 5/8 mile track, winning the $180,000 Champlain Stakes at Mohawk by a dozen lengths in track record 2 minutes flat.
Royal Prestige is all by himself in total command. Condominium is second, Tory Sweep third. It's Royal Prestige eased up in the Champlain Stakes.
Early in the season, it appeared one of the top 3-year-old trotting colts might be Mark 6, who was winless during his freshman season. But the Speedy Scott colt broke his maiden in February at Pompano Park to begin a 6-race winning streak that was highlighted by this 159-2 victory over entry mates Practice and Ron B. Hanover in the $241,000 final of the Canadian Trotting Classic at Greenwood.
Mark 6 leads with an 1/8 to go. Practice on the outside right after him, and Ron B. Hanover on the far outside. A 16th. Mark 6 trying to hold on. Practice trying to get to him, but Mark 6 wins the 1985 Canadian Trotting Classic.
The champion 2-year-old trotting colt of 1984, Workaholic, displayed signs early in the season that he might defend his title. The Speedy Crown colt won 5 of his first 7 starts, including this victory in 159.3 in the nearly $130,000 American National at Sportsman's. However, Workaholic did not win another race the rest of the year.
Workaholic's under a drive on the outside. Bond Sport's coming to him. Workaholic on the inside, Bond Sport on the outside. That's Bond Sport and Workaholic.
Master Willie also opened the season in impressive fashion, winning 6 of his first 7 starts, including the Courier and Ives at the Meadows and the Yonkers Trot by a head over stablemate Mark 6. The Super Bowl colt also defeated Workaholic in the Dexter Cup at Roosevelt and was a straight heat winner of the Old Oaken Bucket at Delaware, including a world record 157.4 in the opening heat. His second heat time of 158.2 enabled Master Willie to establish a 2-heat world record.
Down the lane they come. Master Willie, Host of Waverly on the outside. It's Host of Waverly on the outside. Off stride, Master Willie!
Trotting's most prestigious event, the $1,272,000 Hambletonian, was won by Practice in straight heats. The Speedy Crown colt set a stakes record by winning his elimination heat in 1:55.1, then bettered it with a 1:54.3 effort in the final, while true to form, drifting out in the stretch.
It's Practice on the rail with the lead by a length and a half. Ron B. Hanover is trying to stay with them, but Practice is turning it on. Practice pouring it on inside the final 8th. Bill O'Donnell goes to the whip. Practice leads by 2.5 lengths. Ron B. Hanover takes to the inside. Flackbait is third. Pigvar is fourth. Coming to the finish. Practice is drifting out, but he's going to win it. Practice is going to win the 1985 Hambletonian.
After winning the opening heat of the nearly $544,000 World Trotting Derby at Des Moines in 155 2, Practice was a reluctant starter in the second heat, dumping driver Bill O'Donnell. After getting a push to get started, Practice proved to be anxious to get the race over. He stretched his winning streak to 8 with a world record performance.
They're off and trotting. Mark 6 from the outside for the lead. Between him, Flackbait away second. Down along the rail, Practice out third. Workaholic fourth. Bond Sport 5 on the outside. Rushing up, Hollyhurst 6. Between horses 7, Ron B. Hanover. On the outside, Collector's Work is 8. Along the rail, Noble Tarport 9. Field thundering toward the quarter-mile mark with the lead. Mark 6 by a length and a half. On the inside, Flackbait settles second. Along the rail, Practice waits third. 4 on the inside, Another Miracle 5. Workaholic on the outside. Trotting 6 as they race past that mark is Hollyhurst. They're there 28. They're on the backstretch. On the inside, racing 7 down the backside is Bond Sport. 8 on the outside, Ron B. Hanover. 9, Noble Tarport. 10 on the outside, Collector's Work. 11, Lord of All. Out the back, Nearly Perfect as they drive toward the half. And on the move, Flackbait. Here comes Flackbait out and driving. He takes over Mark 6 now second, and Practice is on the roll on the outside. Practice moving. He's picked up cover approaching the half. On the inside with the lead, Flackbait on the outside. There goes Practice. 150 and 56 and 1. They're into the turn. Off a half, 56 and 1. Practice takes over. He leads a length and a half. On the inside, Flackbait second, Mark 6 third. Trotting 4, Another Miracle. 5, Workaholic. 6, Ron B. Hanover. 7 on the inside, Hollyhurst. 8 on the outside, Bond Sport. Racing 9 between Trotters, Collector's Work. 10 on the inside, Noble Tarport. 11, Lord of All. 12 is Nearly Perfect. They're at the 3/4. Practice has them by 3. A wall of Trotters, 124. Here could be a world record. They turn for home. He's got 3/4 and 124. A last quarter in 29 and 4 would tie the fastest mile ever by a trotter. He's in the lane. Practice has a wall behind him. He leads by 4. On the outside, Workaholic trying to move up second. Practice drifting across the racetrack, trotting to what might be a world record. It should be a track record. Practice off 3/4, 124 by 5 lengths. Practice home in, 53 and 2. There it is! There it is! That's the fastest ever by a trotter.
Not only was Practice's time the fastest ever by a trotter, but his 2-heat combined time also was a world record. Later in the year, Practice won the nearly $453,000 Breeders' Crown in world record 157 and 1 over the 5/8 mile track at Mohawk, and earned $1,610,608 during 1985, a single season earnings record for a trotter. Practice retired to the stallion ranks at Hanover Shoe Farm in Pennsylvania as the richest North American-based trotter in history, with a bankroll of $1,956,056. Practice appeared to be invincible after consecutive victories in the Hambletonian and the World Trotting Derby. But after a 30-day layoff, the Song-Can colt Nearly Perfect surprised him in both an elimination heat and the final of the Transylvania at the Red Mile. Nearly Perfect had only one victory to his credit during his 3-year-old season before heading to Lexington, but won his elimination in 156 and 1 and trotted a 27 and 1 final quarter in the final to not only beat Practice, but also Mark 6, Workaholic, and Flackbait in 157 and 1.
Nearly Perfect has the lead. Practice on the outside, closing ground. Mark 6 is second. Flackbait along the rail 4th. And it's Nearly Perfect in command. Practice up on the outside second. It's going to be Nearly Perfect completing a perfect afternoon.
A week later, Flackbait trotted an even faster final quarter, 26 and 4 at the Red Mile, to win the nearly $186,000 Kentucky Futurity in a race-off with Nearly Perfect and the filly Armbro Devona. The speedy Somali colt had set a stakes record 155 and 2 in the opening heat, only to have Nearly Perfect equal it in the second heat. However, Flackbait was the fastest in the third heat.
On the inside, Flackbait, and Flackbait very strong in the stretch. On the outside, Nearly Perfect coming at him. Flackbait, Nearly Perfect, Armbro Devona to the wire. Flackbait is going to win the Kentucky Futurity.
Flackbait also set a track record for 3-year-old colt trotters at Garden State with his 155-3 victory and the $215,000 Charles I. Smith Classic for New Jersey breds, and defeated Mark 6 and Practice in the $587,000 Shamrock Final, also at Garden State. The Shamrock victory was sweet revenge for Flackbait's driver and part owner Ben Webster, who had been prevented from racing his colt against Practice in the Breeders' Crown.
Through the stretch, it's Flackbait on the inside. Now between horses, Mark 6 is challenging. On the outside, Paracas. These three will battle to the wire. It's Flackbait. He's holding off everybody. Flackbait, Ben Webster holding on, winning the Shamrock Final.
Master syndicator Luke Ida enjoyed the distinction of being a partner in the 3 colts who won legs of Pacing's Triple Crown. The Nihilator colt Pershing Square got his first victory of the season in the $100,000 Battle of the Brandywine.
That's Dragon's Lair, Anxious Robbie, and at the rail, scoot over. That's Dragon's Lair hanging in there, coming on the outside. It's Anxious Robbie, and on the far outside, Pershing Square's gonna get up.
Pershing Square, who later would win the nearly $484,000 Messenger at Roosevelt over Dragon's Lair, also defeats Dragon's Lair at Brandywine in track record 153-4. The Meadow Skipper colt, chairman of the board, rallied in the stretch to defeat Falcon Seelster in the inaugural Ben Slutsky Memorial, worth $242,000 at Monticello.
It's Falcon Seelster with the late chairman of the board, the outside, second with Discotheque. It's Falcon Seelster, chairman of the board on the outside. It's Falcon Seelster, chairman of the board, coming on!
Chairman of the board, who 1 week later would nose out Falcon Seelster in similar fashion, and the $600,000 cane pace at Yonkers, gets a nose in front of Falcon Seelster at Monticello in 155-4. Chairman of the board later won the Jug Preview at Scioto Downs in track record 153-2, and surpassed the $1 million mark in career earnings during 1985. Little Brown Jug winner Nihilator, last season's champion 2-year-old pacing colt, won his first 9 starts of his 3-year-old campaign, including an impressive 7¼ length victory over entry mate chairman of the board in the $1,018,000 Meadowlands pace. His time of 150-3 equaled the world race record.
So it's Nihilator and Anxious Robbie, and Nihilator reclaims the lead at the top of the stretch. He hit 3/4 in 123-3, and Nihilator's going to work. He's pouring it on. He's opened up a 4-length lead, and there's an 1/8 of a mile to come. Anxious Robbie has dropped out of it now. Chairman of the board toward the inside, and Primus on the outside. A 1/16 to go. Nihilator, what a powerhouse. He's in full stride. Here's Nihilator. Bill O'Donnell urging him to a sensational mile. 150-3. Nihilator, a superstar.
But Nihilator's fastest performance was still to come. On Hambletonian Day at the Meadowlands, the Nihilator colt lured the world race record while beating Falcon Seelster.
And they're off. Out first is Shannon Majority, and Falcon Seelster moves to the inside. Nihilator away third. Good-natured fellow from the outside. Then it's What's Next and around the first turn. Shannon Majority now striding out to a 3½ length lead. Falcon Seelster racing in second. Good-natured fellow is third. Nihilator is fourth. He's 7 lengths off the lead now. What's Next races in 5th position, followed by Stonebridge Skipper. The opening quarter, 26-2. Amazing first quarter. Shannon Majority was the one that set the pace. And Falcon Seelster is racing in 2nd position. And now O'Donnell puts Nihilator in gear. And he's on the move on the outside. He's up into 3rd, and he's going right on after Shannon Majority, the leader. Nihilator taking charge, a dramatic rush to the lead. Falcon Seelster comes off the rail. The first quarter, 26-2. Here's the half mile, 53 4/5 seconds. He's ahead of Nihilator's pace. His half mile was 54-3. And the field moves into the far turn. Nihilator and Bill O'Donnell at the lines. They're in front by 2 lengths. Falcon Seelster is second. The others are far behind. It's almost 10 lengths back to Stonebridge Skipper racing in third. Less than 3/8 of a mile to go. Nihilator looking for the world record. Falcon Seelster in close pursuit. 7 lengths now back to the rest. The 3/4 mark, 1:21 2/5 seconds. The field turns for home. Nihilator with long and powerful strides, and Bill O'Donnell urging him on. They're after the world record. Falcon Seelster is racing in second. They're coming to the final 16th. It's only Nihilator against the clock. Falcon Seelster in pursuit. They're coming to the finish. O'Donnell going to work. Here's Nihilator. Here's the final time. 1:49.3. This is the fastest race mile in history, and just 2 ticks off the time trial record of Nihilator. Nihilator, another devastating performance.
And Nihilator would get a share of the Triple Crown by holding off stablemate Pershing Square and fast-closing Dignitarian in stakes record 152-1 in the final of the nearly $351,000 Little Brown Jug at Delaware.
They've got an 1/8 of a mile to go. Nihilator, Dignitarian, Pershing Square comes to the outside. Nihilator, Pershing Square and Dignitarian. Nihilator at the rail.
Nihilator won 23 of 25 starts during his 3-year-old campaign, which saw him earn a single season's record of $1,864,286 and retire as the richest standardbred in history with a career bankroll of $3,225,653. His list of other accomplishments during 1985 is a long and impressive one. Winner of a $136,000 division of the Terrapin at Free State, an $80,000 division of the Jersey Cup at the Meadowlands, the $300,000 James B. Dancer Memorial at Garden State, consecutive track records at the Red Mile and the nearly $193,000 Tattersall Space and the $66,000 Headline Brokers, including a 151-1 clocking in the latter, the $225,000 Walt Whitman at Garden State, and the $565,000 Breeders' Crown, also at Garden State. Prior to his 3-year-old campaign, Nihilator was syndicated for a record $19.2 million and will join the stallion ranks at Almerhurst Farm in Kentucky for the 1986 breeding season. As great as Nihilator was, he wasn't invincible. Marauder snapped Nihilator's early season 9-race winning streak in the opening heat of the more than $242,000 Adios at the Meadows. The Sun Sam colt also defeated chairman of the board and Dignitarian in 152-1, the fastest mile ever by a 3-year-old pacing colt over a 5/8 mile track, and equal to the all-age world record.
They've got an 1/8 of a mile to go. It's Marauder with the lead. Chairman of the board comes to the outside. Dignitarian. Nihilator is racing fourth. The battle's on. Marauder at the rail. Chairman of the board, Marauder!
After being parked for most of the mile by Forrest Skipper, Nihilator lost the $770,000 final of the Pilgrim at Garden State by a neck to the Abercrombie gelding Armbro Dallas to end a 13-race winning streak. Armbro Dallas was clocked in 152-3 to become the fastest 3-year-old gelding in harness racing history.
Under the whip now, Nihilator, the champion, feels it. Nihilator takes the lead from Forrest Skipper. He's starting to pull away like a champion. In hot pursuit, here comes Armbro Dallas. Armbro Dallas could challenge Nihilator. These two are battling to the wire. Could this be an upset? Armbro Dallas upsets Nihilator.
Although he never defeated Nihilator, Falcon Seelster did manage to steal some of his thunder on Little Brown Jug Day at Delaware. The Warm Breeze colt demolished a field of invitational pacers by 21 lengths.
Yeah, fan pacing going for the lead. Falcon Seelster in the middle of the track. Down along the rail. Ground time leaders are second. Racing third at the rail. Skipper Dale Marks. Tequila Star racing fourth. Up on the outside. BJ's Reply fifth. Trailing the field. OB's Falcon Eddie. Down the backside they go. Falcon Seelster by a length and a half. Ground time leaders second. Past the quarter in a speedy 27 seconds. Into the turn. Going to the 3/8. Racing at the rail third. Skipper Dale Marks. Tequila Star fourth. BJ's Reply fifth. Trailing the field around the turn. That's OB's Falcon Eddie. Into the stretch. Passing us down the first time. Falcon Seelster and Tom Harmer moving over to the halfway point. They reach the half. 54-3. 27-3, second quarter. Racing to the backside, it's Falcon Sealster by a length and a half. Racing second, ground time leader to the backside. Skipperdale Marks racing third. On fourth is Tequila Star on the outside. OB's Falcon Eddie fifth. PJ's Reply sixth. What's the three quarters gonna be? 1:22-4. And Falcon Sealster opens up for Tom Harmer. If you've never been on your feet, you better get up now. It's Falcon Sealster opening up now by 15 lengths, 17, 19. Falcon Sealster and Tom Harmer coming home. Look at the timer. 1:51.
Falcon Sealster stops the timer in 1:51 to obliterate the all-age world record over a half-mile track. The previous record of 1:53-3 had been shared by Itch Fritz and Legal Notice. The winner of only one race during his 2-year-old campaign, Falcon Sealster burst onto the scene as a 3-year-old, winning 23 of his first 30 starts, setting 9 track records, and earning more than $820,000. Falcon Sealster had to be supplemented to most major events and made the most of his opportunities. His first stakes victory came in a $102,000 division of the American National at Sportsman's. His richest victory was in the $358,000 Prix d'Été, which he won in 1:53-2 at Bluebonnets to become the fastest 3-year-old colt pacer ever in Canada. Also in Canada, Falcon Sealster won the $200,000 Nat Christie Memorial at Stampede Park, the $78,000 Sophomore Championship at Mohawk, and the $103,000 Provincial Cup at Windsor. There also was tragedy in the sport of harness racing during 1985. 9 standardbreds were killed in a barn fire at the Red Mile. 5 of the horses were trained by Mike Zeller, including the 7-year-old gelding Banker Barker, who had set a world record for geldings of 1:56-2 in a heat of the 1981 World Trotting Derby. Banker Barker was voted the champion 3-year-old male trotter of 1981. Banker Barker earned more than $668,000 during his career, which concluded with this victory in an invitational handicap at Louisville Downs.
Down the stretch, Banker Barker on the inside. Proudly we hail on the inside. Coming down the stretch to the wire, it's Banker Barker.
The promising 2-year-old pacing colt Armbro Elvis also got his last victory at Louisville Downs, overcoming a rough trip to win an elimination for the Kentucky Pacing Derby in 1:57.
Armbro Elvis with the lead. On the outside, second, Landslip Hanover. Coming third, Ogden Lobel. Coming for the wire, Armbro Elvis and Landslip Hanover.
The direct scooter colt went into the Kentucky Pacing Derby with 9 wins in 12 starts and was battling eventual winner Sherman Almerhurst in the stretch when he suddenly slowed. He carried driver and trainer Frank O'Mara across the finish line, then collapsed and died. Armbro Elvis had a mark of 1:54-4, taken in the $100,000 final of the New Jersey Sire Stake at the Meadowlands. A 1-car automobile accident in Lexington, Kentucky claimed the life of Hall of Fame driver and trainer Glenn Garnsey. Garnsey was leaving the opening session of the Kentucky Standardbred Sales Company yearling auction when he apparently lost control of his vehicle and the car flipped over into a stream. The weather was extremely foggy, and Garnsey apparently did not see a curve in the road. Garnsey's wife Paula, who was a passenger in the car, was treated and released from a Lexington hospital. Garnsey, who drove his first race in 1950, was one of the few horsemen to have ever trained and driven 2 horses of the year, Abercrombie in 1978 and the filly Fan Hanover in 1981. Abercrombie set a then world record 1:53 with this victory at the Meadowlands.
And here comes Abercrombie on the far outside. Abercrombie is unwinding on the outside, has taken over the field. Abercrombie's got it by a head. Scotch is trying to come back on. It's Abercrombie.
Fan Hanover remains the only filly ever to have won the Little Brown Jug.
Fan Hanover, New York Motoring, what a fast deal. Fan Hanover drawing out in the final of the Little Brown Jug, and she is home in 1:58 4/5.
I'd have to say that Fan Hanover winning the Little Brown Jug was probably one of the greatest days that I'll ever see or have or dream about. You know, first filly to win the jug, and then she went on to win, you know, Horse of the Year.
But it was at his favorite track, the Red Mile, where Garnsey recorded several of his milestones. And the Red Mile honored him with a memorial service, which included a driverless horse from Garnsey's stable, accompanied by his fellow drivers and trainers. General Manager Kurt Green recalled some of Garnsey's accomplishments in Lexington.
On one memorable afternoon, exactly 3 years ago today, Glenn won the heat of the Tattersall's Pace in a stake record 51-4. Mark Dalmagan at 55-4 and established Fan Hanover as one of the greatest and fastest pacing mares of all time. Another came during our spring meeting here in '84 when he drove his 2000th win and made it happen here and deferred some drives in the East, which would have put him over the hump. He wanted it to happen here.
From 1969 to 1978, Garnsey handled the Castleton Farm stock and developed, among others, the champion trotting mare Colonial Charm. At the memorial service, Castleton Farm owner Frederick Van Lennep announced that the Red Mile would inaugurate a stake race in Garnsey's memory. And the Tattersall's filly pace has been renamed the Glenn Garnsey Memorial. Glenn Garnsey, dead at the age of 52. Bill O'Donnell, who is essential to join Garnsey in the Hall of Fame, continued his success during 1985, driving the winners of more than $10 million to establish a new single-season earnings record. O'Donnell was the regular driver for many world champions, including Nihilator, Practice, and Arbro Devona. And Mike LaChance, who early in the season bested his fellow drivers in the Midas Gold Crown Championship at Pompano Park, won the dash-winning title. LaChance became only the second driver ever to win more than 500 races in a single year.
On the inside, hello, Birdie, Mike LaChance. The outside, Famer Shane, Billy Parker Jr. Here comes Dave Vance with Baron Chris. That is hello, Birdie, Mike LaChance. They're going to win the Midas Touch Gold Crown Series.
1985, a year for many memories in harness racing.